Hey guys, it's Jim. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back and thanks for watching. I appreciate it and hope you're having a great day wherever you may be. I'm going to do a quick workflow video today in Luminar, and I'm going to start with this photo. Let's take a look at that. There we go. So this is a shot from an evening in London, and by the way, I got a ton of photos from London. I was there back in January, and sorry, pretty much all my videos lately have been London photos, but can't help it. I got a lot of photos. So anyway, I was out shooting with a friend of mine, and we were over by Covent Garden, and there's all these phone booths, which are just perfect, and I love street shots, and I love the phone booths, and there was a guy taking photos of this girl. Now, I don't know if she's a model or if it's his girlfriend. I have no idea, and I don't care, but she was in my photo, and truthfully, I like empty street scenes and stuff, but I thought it was interesting, so I just started taking photos, and the guy didn't seem to mind, and she was looking at him, but whatever. So she's a model for me now, I guess, whether she's a model or not. But here's the photo. It's a 3 exposure HDR. I blended that in Aurora, a couple of minor tweaks, and then I brought it over to Luminar and turned it into that. And I'm going to walk through that, and we're going to get started right now. So that is, if I can close this. Close. There we go. Okay. So here's my photo. My histogram, pretty far to the left because it's dark. That's okay. I'm going to close that. My layers panel, one base layer, no other layers needed, and my information, ISO 100 at f4. I just focused on her at f4. I was on a tripod. I was shooting pretty quick to fire the brackets, and I'm going to close that as well. So here we go. I'm going to start with Accent AI, and I got to look at my notes. I don't remember everything I did. Something about like that. And then I'm going to add some contrast. Let's see here. Something about like that. And as you can tell, the contrast basically creates a darker photo, right? And so that's where Smart Tone comes in. And I'm going to use Smart Tone about like that. Sorry, I have to keep looking at my notes because I can't remember with all these filters. But already I think the photo looks a whole lot better. So there's the before and there's the after. It's a little bit brighter, a little bit more contrast, but as you can see, it's really green. And I don't like the color. I don't like it at all. I love the red, but everything else just looks like puke to me. So I'm getting rid of it, and that's where color balance comes in. So I'm going to start with the shadows. So let me look over here. I'm going to go pretty far to the left here, make that a little bit more blue, and then a little bit to the right here. So if you haven't used color balance, I highly recommend you dive in and start messing around with it. You can separate shadows, midtones, and highlights, as you can see here. And then within each of them, you can move the colors one way or the other, either more blue or more, yellow or, whatever it may be. So you can kind of see these. This is not a full tutorial on that. I actually have videos where I talk about color balance. So that's a little bit back in my history, but check those out if you haven't seen them. But I love the tool. It allows me so much color flexibility, which I'm a fan of. Excuse me. Okay, midtones. I'm going to leave the cyan red the way it is, but I'm going to go a little bit negative here, a little bit more magenta to pick up some of that color. And then I want to go pretty far here just to bring in some blues. Now you can see this is having a big impact on the photo. And the reason why is there's a lot of midtones. Most photos probably have a lot of midtones unless it's maybe a really high contrast black and white or something. But this photo has a lot of midtones, and you can see we've already gone from that kind of the green puke to this. Now, there's still some green over here. We're going to fix that here in just a second. Let me finish up with the highlights. And what I did on the highlights, I did a little bit more negative here, going a little bit more to the cyan kind of look, and then quite a bit more to the blue on this slider. So something about like that. So as you can see, we came a really long way with just one tool, and that's color balance. And that's why it is one of my favorite filters. You probably hear me say that a lot about filters, but this time I'm telling the truth. No, color balance is it's magic. It really is. It's magic because I went from that to that. And all I've done is move a couple of sliders. And if I wasn't sitting here running my mouth, it would have only taken me, like just a few seconds. So now having done that, I'm actually going to take the color temp and go a little bit left here. This is something I like to do where I take the temperature left and the tint to the right. Something about like that. Simply because I like the tone. I do that a lot with my city shots, especially night shots. It brings up kind of the blues and purples, which I just happen to like those colors a lot. So there's the before, and there's the after. It's not real different. It's kind of subtle, but part of what it did is it moved a little bit of that green in this foreground sort of away, but that's what we need to go address next. So I'm going to start with hue. With the red, I'm going to go all the way to the right, and that's just because it's going to create a little bit more orangey red. I think beforehand it was a little too kind of burgundy red, and so I'm changing the hue a little bit. Now, a lot of it's in shadow, so it doesn't pick up a lot of that, but that's okay. It's enough to really pop that red, especially in the center of the photo where, you know, that's really the focus anyway, because that's where the girl is. With saturation, now here's where you can easily control the green. I can take the green and I can go to 0, and that's pretty much gone. I'm going to take aqua, and I'm going to go pretty negative as well. That's pretty gone. And then I'm going to take blue and take that down about like that. And now that looks a lot better. Let me show you that. There's the before. If you look at the foreground here, all these cement blocks or whatever, you know, the walkway, the path, whatever you want to call it. It's too green and blue for my taste. Now it looks like it, you know, like it really should, right? So that's that. Now, let me see here. I also took the purple down a bit because there is a bit of purple coming in a couple of areas, and so I want to take that down. And so if you look at that, there's the before. You can see a lot of purple in the sky, by the way, and there's some stuff kind of in the rocks, or excuse me, in the building over there. And there's the after. So I think we've got a lot better control over our colors. I'm feeling pretty good about it. I'm going to go to luminance, and all I'm going to do is bump up the luminance of the red a little bit just to give it a little bit more pop, because to me, red is the color here. I just don't want it to be so red that everything else is red, and I wanted to tone down some of that other stuff, which I did with HSL, a little bit with color temperature, and significantly with the color balance filter. Okay, so I'm feeling pretty good. The only thing I really want to do now is I want to focus in on the model, and of course a vignette is always good for that. So let me find my notes here. All right, so I went about -60, and size, I dropped that a little bit. Gosh, where's my note? There it is. There we go, something about like that. So let me show you the before and the after. I like that because truthfully, night shots, I generally want to focus in on stuff, and so even though things are, you know, somewhat dark because it is night, the vignette I think really helps. It sort of anchors the photo and anchors sort of the focal point, right? That's kind of what a vignette does. So there it is, before, and there it is after. Here's the one thing I would do is I would take the inner light and I would bump that up because I want to draw a little bit more attention to the center of the photo. So I would go something like that. Now, here's the thing. Let me show you the before and the after. By adding the inner light, it's really bright right here where it says telephone. So I'm actually going to get the mask, or excuse me, the brush, and I'm going to go brush, and I'm on the eraser, and I'm just going to erase that from here. And it doesn't make a huge difference, and I'm going to do it here, and I'm going to do it here as well. But it makes a little bit of a difference. I can tell. I don't know if you can tell, but you can see, I mean, all I did is that. I just wanted to remove the inner light, anything in the vignette filter from that section, because when I add the inner light, it pops, it makes everything brighter. That's what it does. And since these were already lit up and pretty bright, they were just too bright, and I lost the word telephone, which I didn't like. I want the word telephone there. So now it's back. So one more time, there's the before vignette and there's the after. And for comparison purposes, here's a before and after. You can see very yellow, green, kind of, it's just that same light pollution sort of look that cities give off at night. And I talked about that, 4 or 5 videos back. And I used color balance in that video. And then I just wanted to do a workflow where you can see I went from that photo to this photo here in just a couple of minutes. One more time, base HDR, 3 exposures, blended in Aurora. Then I brought it to Luminar and I turned it into that. And that's a quick workflow video, my friends. I hope that it helps. Thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like if you like it. If you don't like it, I guess don't like it. And share with your friends if you would. Don't hesitate to leave me a comment. And by the way, I've got a laundry list of things I want to work on, but I'm always open to suggestions. So if you have an idea for something you'd like to see me cover, please leave that as a comment or a suggestion. It doesn't mean I'm going to be able to do it, but I'm certainly open to that. I've done that before, and it does help me. If I can put something together that's tangible and worthwhile and helpful to you guys, I'll do it. So That's it, my friends. Thanks for watching. See you soon, and adios.